Now it's time for Movie Friends with your hosts Michelle and Seth. We're talking film without pretension. We're finding cats that are unexpected. We'll watch a movie, film, or schmovie, and we want you to join our journey. So subscribe and share this podcast, or this might just be the last of the Movie Friends. We're movie friends. We want to be your movie friends.
Welcome to Movie Friends. I'm here with my friend Michelle Rubenstein, who hates it when I call her bro.
It's true. And I'm here with my friend Seth Vargas, whose face is itchy.
That is also true. Yeah, 3 weeks ago I shocked Michelle with a totally shaved look.
Yeah.
And now I'm at 3 weeks of growth and my face is indeed itchy.
Yeah, you look back to where you started.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
What's going on?
How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. It was your birthday?
It was. I had a good weekend.
Good.
I ate good food.
Hmm.
I went to a head spa.
A what? Okay.
I saw Of Montreal and Come Girl 8. It was great.
Okay, but wait, what's a head spa?
I'm going to say it's a very bougie treatment, and it's like a 60-minute scalp massage and exfoliation, and then you get a blowout. It was very relaxing.
Okay, so it's just a spa, but just for your head.
Yeah. It's inside of a salon, but it's called a head spa.
Wow, okay. Sounds like chutzpah.
Not really, but yeah, it was good.
Okay, all right. How was Of Montreal?
They were great. They played the Sunlandic Twins album. It's the 20th anniversary of that album.
Wow.
So good. And Come Girl 8, which is Ant's new favorite band. They were awesome too. They opened.
Cool.
Yeah. It was a good time. And it like just brought me back into the world of Montreal. And I'm like, man, it's just good. Just good
Never
stuff.
listened to them.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Do you know any of their songs?
No.
I bet you do. I bet you do. I'm going to send you when we get off a couple and you'll be like, oh, I know this because you've heard them in commercials, and their one was in a Outback Steakhouse commercial.
Oh, I am a big Outback Steakhouse commercial guy.
Yeah. So I'll send it to you. But yeah, they were great. It was awesome. It was fun to go see live music.
Always.
Like the last time Aunt and I saw Of Montreal was 17 years ago, and I fainted. And Aunt and I were newly dating, so he didn't know that sometimes I go down. And I woke up in the bouncer's arms, and I was like, "Ugh, did I faint? I just need a hot dog bun." And then we were behind the stage, and then Aunt got to wave to Kevin Barnes, so it all worked out.
I just need a hot dog bun.
I was like, I don't eat meat, but
Is
give me
that
a
your
bun.
recovery for passing out?
Well, it's just like I need bread.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like to imagine that you woke up and the bouncers were like shoving a hot dog in your face because that's there.
Well, I woke up in the bouncer's arms, and they're like, "We could give you a hot dog," and I'm like, "Just give me the bun."
Got it. Okay.
So yeah, that was my weekend.
Very cool. I also saw some live music this weekend.
Did you? Who'd you go see?
Yeah. I went out to do some more filming for the doc.
Nice.
So
Very nice.
it was Matt Farley, The Big Heist concert in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Cool.
College town, maybe?
Yeah.
Is there a college named Cambridge?
Cambridge
or is that
University?
Just where Harvard is? I don't know.
I mean, it sounds academic. So
Yeah.
how was it?
It was great. It was awesome. Went out to eat afterwards with some people. I ate a big burrito, some flan. I was so hungry that I just ordered like 5 things and I ate them all really, really quickly. And then almost had troubles on my way home.
I can imagine. Yeah.
But luckily,
You kept it in and down?
Well, no, but luckily our government has provided for us rest stops on highways.
Well, thank you for painting that visual.
It was just me and 3 other short dudes in a Massachusetts rest stop at 1 a.m. on a Friday night.
You weren't with the 3 other dudes.
No,
You just all
but it
happened
just
to
so happened
be at
we
the
just
rest
all
stop.
happened to be there at the same time, and we were all short. And I was like, this is like a Nicholas Hornsby book. And just
Wow.
what our lives are that have
Yeah.
brought us all to this bathroom at the same time.
Did you give nods?
Oh no. Oh no. You do not talk. No. I mean,
don't know.
people
Maybe
do.
there's like a short guy code.
Yeah, the short guy code is don't talk to me at 1 a.m. in the bathroom. I'm short. Leave me alone. I'm scared.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, we got an email.
Email.
Subject line is Wild at Heart. That was last week's episode.
Remember that movie?
I do. I remember it fondly. I remember it more fondly than how we talked about it.
That's good.
The email says, a lot of people still wear stockings. I see them all the time. I don't, but I believe you. The pantyhose egg talk sounded like Seinfeld. Wizard of Oz is one of my favorite movies, and I love the Defoe podcast idea. I love Bobby Peru. Wow. What a statement. Michelle on that episode mentioned that her and her husband Anthony, maybe it probably will never happen, but you never know. Would do a Willem Dafoe podcast.
We talked about it more over the weekend.
Is it going to happen?
Like the logistics of it and how it would be like it would be like a 20-minute podcast. And essentially you're just checking in to see what you're getting into and if Willem is the friend of Defoe of the movie. We
Got
wouldn't
it.
actually spoil the movie for you, but the big spoiler is if he's the friend of Defoe or maybe the frenemy.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You could have a drum roll reveal?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Defoe.
The friend.
I like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
You could do that as just a small little bonus of movie friends. If we're watching a movie with him in it.
Oh yeah.
You
Absolutely.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Exactly.
P.S. I want more Elvis singing reviews. No. P.S.S. One of the best punk rock romantic films ever made. P.S.S.S. I couldn't agree with Sean more. And P.S.S.S.S. Never worry about the runtime. We want more. And I thank you, but no. Our hour and a half episodes are plenty.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. And that email's from Ben.
Thanks, Ben.
The email king retains his title.
He sure does.
Hey, if you want to be like Ben, send us an email, moviefriendspodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you're doing. Do you love Bobby Peru? If you do, please explain why. So before we get into our discussion on Face Off, we guess what each other are going to rate the movie. And I was on a hot streak, but we've been missing each other the last few weeks. Nobody's winning any pickles.
No.
Which is okay. And for this episode, I feel like, now don't say anything, of course, but I feel like I could see you rating this 1 star. I feel like I could see you rating this 5 stars, and I have no idea what to expect.
Totally. I have no idea what you actually think of this movie or what you're going to rate it. So
This is a real mixed bag, this one.
It sure is.
So I'm stabbing in the dark, and I'm locked in.
I'm locked in too.
But you don't feel good.
I don't. We'll see.
So yes, we are ending our Nicolas Cage journey. 6 weeks in a row.
I can't believe it.
6 films. It's nuts.
It's such a weird feeling because it feels like we've been here forever, but also I can't believe it's ending.
Yeah, a lot of movies in a row. This is our second patron-voted Nick Cage movie. And it was pretty close. We had a lot of different movies nominated. I think more movies were nominated for Nick Cage month than any other month that we've ever done.
I believe it.
Because there's just such a spread. Something I noticed was we started with Pig, right? but every other movie that we've done is before the year 2000. And most of them are like in the 90s. So there's a whole 20 years of his filmography that we're just like not even touching.
Wow.
Yeah.
How's your watch going?
It's going good. I think I did movie number 20 or 21 last night. I did 2 Cage movies back to back last night. Because he made another film with John Woo called
Okay.
Wind Talkers,
Uh-huh.
which is a movie that I've kind of meant to watch for years. It's about Navajo soldiers in World War II, and they use the Navajo language as a code the Japanese couldn't break. So I watched that, and then I watched this other movie called Bangkok Dangerous that I thought always looked really dumb because I thought Nicolas Cage's character in the movie was named Bangkok Dangerous. Turns out his name is Joe, but yeah.
Joe.
But yeah, it's going great, and it's been a really interesting experience, and no one cares about this, but since you're asking, I've decided from now on to help guide my personal movie watching. Every month, I'm going to do another series along with the Movie Friends theme.
I like that. I love staying in a theme.
Yeah, I'm going to limit it though. So I'm shooting for 25 new to me Cage films this month. Next month, I'm going to do 20
That's
films
fair.
that fit our theme. And that's what I'm going to do from now on.
I think that's good. That really provides a grand scope of what we're covering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it kind of helps me, not have choice paralysis, but then it also gets me like in the headspace and also knocking stuff off that I've always meant to watch, and it'll be cool.
Yeah.
So today we are talking about Face Off.
How do we talk about this movie?
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. Directed by John Woo, written by Mike Werb and Michael Kaleri, cinematography by Oliver Wood, composed by John Powell, edited by Stephen Kemper and Christian Wagner, costume design by Ellen Morogenik, starring Nicolas Cage, John Travolta, Joan Allen, Alessandro Nivola, and Gina Gershon. Michelle, how about we switch it up and you read our summary?
FBI agent Sean Archer has been hunting the terrorist for hire Castor Troy for years. Castor is dangerous, intelligent, and completely unpredictable. After a showdown that leaves Castor in a coma, Sean must undergo a secretive surgical procedure in order to gain information from Castor's brother about a bomb set to go off in 8 days. As if that wasn't enough, Castor wakes up from his coma and decides to have some surgery of his own. What will happen when light meets dark, when good meets evil, and when these two men finally face off?
Wow, Michelle just did all that in one take, and you got secretive surgical procedure.
For some reason, those words flowed, and that sentence didn't. It's weird. Sometimes I can say certain words, and sometimes certain words I cannot say.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Tough. So this was a first-time watch for you.
Sure was. It was, Steffi.
I am very curious to hear what you thought about John Woo's 1997 action, adventure, romance?
Epic?
Face Off.
Yeah. My first note. First note. Nick Cage killed a kid?
Yeah. Okay.
That's how we're starting. We're starting with literally killing a child.
Yes. I texted you something along the lines of, I simply cannot take notes for Face Off.
Yeah.
I was a page into my notes on this opening. Like the opening credits were still happening, and I had a page of notes.
Were you just writing every single move, camera direction, feeling?
This movie is stuffed to the gills.
That's one way to put it.
Every line is insane. Everything that every person does. But anyway, okay, so started out killing a kid. Did it get better? Did it get worse? What did you think?
That's such a broad question.
I know.
Yes, did it get better? I mean, the story, I will say this. I think this is a captivating story
Okay.
because the whole time you're like, are they going to get their faces back? So, like, this is
That's not what I expected you to say. That's pretty great. Like, I'm just picturing you now, like, in a blanket, like, staring up at the TV, like, on your floor, like, will they get their faces back?
Is that how you think I watch movies? No.
No.
That's really funny though. No, and because like this movie is very long and
Yes.
there's a lot happening and things are drawn out and we face off a lot.
There's a lot of facing
There's
off.
a lot of
Yes.
facing off, but the whole time I'm like, how is this gonna end?
Right.
Are
How are
we
they gonna
gonna
wrap
get
it up?
our respective faces back?
Right.
So I was into the journey.
Okay.
I'll say this. I enjoyed this watch way more than Wild at Heart.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So were you laughing with the movie, at the movie? Were you just kind of like bewildered? Did you feel like these people know what they're doing or this is a mess?
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah.
All of it. Aunt has seen this movie a bunch of times, but it's
Oh.
been years. And so he really was hoping we would be covering this one. And so we watched it Sunday morning before we went and saw Of Montreal. Well, I was like, it's either now or I'm going to watch it Monday night.
Yeah.
I want to watch it now.
Yeah.
And so just me and my cup of coffee. And I was like, at 11 minutes in, okay, I wrote, how much did this cost? That whole plane terminal crash sequence.
Oh yeah.
And then I asked Aunt, I was like, are we actually going to switch faces at some point? And then the face touching drove me nuts. And then I told Aunt if he ever did that to me, it would never fly because dirty hands. I'm all over the place with this, Seth, so please chime in and guide us.
This episode is going to be very all over the place, and I don't care. I don't care. I mean, obviously, we have our show, we have our episode structure, but there's just too much to talk about. The face, I call it a face wipe.
Yeah, that's fine.
What they
face
do.
wipe. Yeah.
I don't understand it.
The first time it happens, when Archer does it to his wife, I look at Aunt and I was like, what is this? And he was like, it's a thing. Yeah. So keep watching. And I was like, what do you mean it's a thing?
He does it to the kid before he gets shot. He does do it.
Maybe, is that when I wrote it down?
Yeah. You might not notice it because sometimes,
up on that.
It's like, oh, what, it's like a little
like a movie's
game
just starting.
Yeah. But then they do it 100 times, 200 times. Every time any member of Sean Archer's family is within arm's length of each other, they are wiping each other's faces. And it's so weird because it's not like an affectionate like this.
No.
Like a little like head scratch or even like a hey, ear pull. I have no examples of what a good version of this thing is.
Yeah, that's a reach.
Because nothing like this exists in real life. You know what I mean?
It's so strange.
Like families, I saw someone online defending this, saying like, "Oh, well, sometimes families have secret handshakes." No, they don't. What family has a secret handshake?
But even if it's a handshake, I can get down with that. It's the touching of the face that is such a pet peeve of mine because dirty fingers and someone who has acne-prone skin, I'm like, don't even touch my face.
Right. But it's so I guess what I'm getting at is like it feels very dismissive.
It does.
Like that feels like something you do to the nerd. Like hush yourself now.
Exactly. Like shut up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not something that when my kids were both very little, as they would be falling asleep, I would do a thing where I would kind of like gently, like as they're falling asleep, you're doing like a downward motion on their eyes.
Yep.
Very, very lightly until their eyes stay closed.
I would ask Aunt to like rub me between my eyes, and I'd be
Mhm.
like, rub me like my cats, like because I do
Yeah.
that to my cats, and it's very relaxing.
Right.
But that's it.
But this is not that.
This is not
different.
that.
This is
way
not
different.
a familial massage. This is like our little secret code. And it just so happens to be in a movie about face swapping. You know what I mean? Like, it just so happens that Sean Archer's family does the face off movement to each other.
Off.
And they've always done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Short Circuit's my brain. I really want to go back to this opening.
Okay.
Every
You wrote
part of it,
pages on it, so
every part of it is insane. It's the craziest. Okay, so Sean Archer and Castor Troy are mortal enemies. Castor Troy is a terrorist for hire, which I guess could be a thing.
I think so.
Yeah, normally a terrorist, there's like an ideology behind it, right?
Yeah.
Like the saying is like you're only a terrorist if you don't win. It's like depending on who writes the history book, you're a terrorist or a hero, right? He has none of that. He's just like, I'll blow things up for you for money, right? Okay. There's a long history between them, and we enter into a story already in progress. Sean Archer and his son Michael are at a ghost merry-go-round, I guess.
Yeah.
Their town just has a merry-go-round that is operating at all times, and they're on it. Castor Troy has set up a sniper rifle in the woods. He's got a mustache.
The woods, we're like barely 5 feet away.
Well, okay.
From
yes.
this.
He's on a grassy knoll, but like, you're right. Like, Sean Archer should have been like, hey, isn't that Castor Troy?
Right. He's like straight on, like, where's the camouflage? No one noticing
Right.
you. Okay, sure. Continue, Seth.
He's got a little mustache on. And the movie does this thing that's like, hey, did you notice that he's got a mustache? If you didn't, we're going to have him suck on a straw to just really emphasize this mustache. It's so weird. It's so weird. You always, like, when we're talking about movies, you always talk about choices, right?
Yeah.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
Every 15 seconds of this movie, it's like, oh,
that's a choice.
Someone made a choice. Sometimes there's stuff in the background or someone just does something or, in that moment, someone acts a certain way and it's captured on film. And other elements of filmmaking are choices, right? Everything here is it's just the craziest choice ever. So I have cleaned my glasses like 5 times now because I keep wiping my face.
I know that feeling, yeah.
Okay. If you are going to snipe someone, would you choose to do it on a rotating merry-go-round? Like, right? Is that not the worst possible place to snipe a person?
Let's just make my moving target even harder.
Yes. Yeah. And now, like you said, they're like 10 feet away, so
it doesn't matter.
That hard, but
it doesn't matter clearly because this doesn't go to plan.
Yeah. Now, as you're watching this, did you think that the kid was actually going to die?
No.
Right.
I was like, we're not going to kill a kid. We're starting with a dead kid?
Yeah. John Woo was like, sure.
We're not messing around.
No, he's not messing around. John Woo, he is not messing around in this movie. This movie is all business.
Serious.
Yes. So his son is killed because Castor Troy shoots him through the back. When Castor Troy sees that the kid was shot and that Sean is still alive, he just packs up and leaves.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't shoot again. They don't have a shootout in that moment. It's just like, well, I tried.
I missed this time.
Yep. It's insane. So then we get all the opening credits and all these details. I paused on a few of the FBI files, like describing like some of the stuff Castor Troy has done. It's crazy. Now, they filmed this movie out of order. So they did do a few weeks of rehearsals, Cage and Travolta and John Woo. They talked about like, oh, hey, maybe I'll use this little mannerism of yours, and maybe I'll do, how do you feel about that? Or, am I getting this right? But Cage said, he's like, we really only tried to copy each other in like a direct way. He's like, I think he said like maybe 5 to 10 times throughout the movie. He's like, we weren't like trying to like do a John Travolta thing.
Right.
But they started filming the movie like at the end, like the final scene.
Which final scene?
Well, that's a great question because there's 10 endings. This movie is a series of endings.
Yes.
Yeah.
You think you're close, and let's keep going.
Yes, exactly. And so like when Travolta first comes on screen, it's 6 years later. He's already acting like at an 11 over the top. He's like, is there any news from the LA information? Blah blah blah. If there is such a thing, la, 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 la. It's so weird. Like this character, Sean, I don't know. I don't like him. Like I guess I'll just.
Yeah, I don't like him either. And it's interesting you say that because I felt like he was a wet blanket until Cage becomes him.
Yes, in every other scene, but like the very first time we see him when he's in the office, he's just like dialed up to
Erratic.
11.
Yeah.
And it was like, this is so weird. Now, like Sean Archer, I think is like a good agent. I mean, like when
I don't know, we don't get to see enough of it.
Right. When they're trying to stop the plane and they're like using the helicopter to make it so the flaps, I was like, oh my God, this is pretty great. Anyway, okay. Castor Troy.
He's like a cartoon villain.
Absolutely. Yep. He's a supervillain from the comics.
Yeah. Was Cage ever up for the role of the Joker?
No. But this is it. This is it.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
He had hesitation about doing this role because he didn't want to play a bad guy. And then he says he realized, oh, I'm actually only playing the bad guy. And you can watch this in an interview with him. I swear to God, you can watch this in an interview with him. He says, well, I'm really only Castor Troy for the first like 10 minutes. After that, I'm Sean Archer. So to him, he was like, oh yeah, I'll do this insane part because I'm the good guy for most of the movie.
No, you're playing a possessed version of the good guy, quote unquote. What?
But like him as Castor in the first 10 minutes, it's so insane and over the top that I feel like it just carries through the rest of the movie.
Yes, and never once do you think, oh yeah, Cage is doing the good thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We've talked a lot about Cage over the last few weeks, and I was pretty fascinated in 2 different interviews with him for this movie. He makes the same point where he says, the more I sat with the script and the idea, I realized that I would be doing a role that has like never been done before. And that's what intrigued him about this. It wasn't like, oh, I want to work with John Woo, or, oh, I want to do a huge blockbuster movie. He was like, no one has ever done that. I am a character whose face has been swapped with someone else. Because there's like mind switching movies.
Yep.
Or there's clones. Or there's twins. But never quite this scenario. And so that's part of the reason why he did it.
I get it. I think it is an interesting concept.
Mm-hmm.
The science of it all is just
brushed
over and just
Well,
We're very confident in this procedure.
the new anti-inflammatories make it so that it's only a few days recovery.
Sure, you just have to accept it. Like that's
Yes.
not the science of it is not the
movie.
problem.
No,
it's not
no.
the movie, right?
Now this, I don't know. Have you looked into this at all, like since watching it?
Like a tiny bit of it, but not really.
Okay, so something that might make you feel better. It made me feel a lot better. Is knowing that this movie was supposed to take 200 years in the future.
Oh, I didn't read that.
And it was originally supposed to be a big sci-fi movie.
That makes sense.
Green screens, spaceships, all of that stuff. That's why when you go to the prison, you have all the prisoners wearing magnet boots and they're being monitored on computer screens, right? John Woo was like, I don't want to do that. It's going to be pretty much modern day, maybe a few years. I think John Woo said it's only 10 years in the future. But I was pretty sure when I was watching, I was like, I think that it's just 1997.
Yeah.
But he was like, I wanted it now. And he wanted everything practical sets, no green screen stuff, all practical explosions, wire work, all
I
that
did
stuff.
read that. And so I was very impressed with the fact that we're doing practical stunts and
Yes.
explosions and stuff like that.
Yeah. And so this makes way more sense. Your whole face swapping surgery.
Yeah.
If I'm 200 years in the future and you say to me, oh yeah, we have a laser that like builds an ear and then puts it on and no one will ever know. I'm just like, well, yeah, of course you do. It's the future.
Right.
So making it in the future explains everything. Making it now explains nothing. Like there's just you're either in or you're out.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Okay, so Castor Troy, the opening scene, the singing, the groping, the head banging, what are you thinking?
I mean, when he gets out of the car on the tarmac and his jacket is just like whoosh.
Yeah.
I laughed.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. But I loved his kit, his chiclets, his gold money clip.
Yes.
His gold guns.
Mm-hmm.
If, if I would let you, would you suck my tongue?
Okay. Hold on.
We're really building a character here.
I love the kit. I love the kit. I love the kit. There's like some joints in there.
Yes.
There's chiclets. Maybe there's another type of gum too. And it's just like in a little cigar box.
It's great.
And it kind of reminds me almost of like the Little Rascals or like something that like kids would do where like you have like a flunky who keeps all your little treasures,
Yeah, I love it.
It's like, bring me my go box, Yeah, the opening is absolutely insane. The Troy brothers are planting a bomb that will go off in 8 days when 3 Supreme Court justices will be at the LA Convention Center to speak at the Bar Association enrollment.
Who hired them?
No idea. Now
Okay.
I think they say the militia will get to keep their money. So some militia group who wants these 3 Supreme Court justices dead so that at that point the sitting president would be able to put in 3 Supreme Court justices, which would Yeah. So okay, but on this day there's the National Choir Convention and they're singing Handel's Messiah. Why is he dressed like a priest?
I honestly okay.
To blend in?
Right. So we're just meeting Castor and trying to understand him. So at this point, I'm not really questioning it. I'm like, oh, okay, this will come around.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. I think it's just to blend in and then just to show how disgusting he is and the contrast of something that's holy.
Okay. Yes. Very true. Very true. Yeah. Yeah. So the first time I watched this, I was like, oh, this is a choir of many ages. And so this girl, she's probably over 18. And then rewatching it, I was like, oh my God, no, wait, these are all like kids. And he's just like grabbing her butt and like screaming.
Gross.
You would stand out.
You would think. I mean, no one seems to react to him.
Nobody cares.
No one cares.
Yep.
Nobody cares.
And no one is like, hey, that's Castor Troy.
Well, that was the other thing that got me. Like, he's never covering his face or glasses or fake mustache. No, it's just straight up him.
And
all
he
the
says
time.
To his brother, when his brother pays for the airplane in cash, he's like, oh, blah, 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 to hide our famous faces. So I'm like, okay, you have famous faces. You are world-known criminals. And no one is like, oh my God, there's Castor Troy dressed like a priest.
Nope.
Yeah. Like, okay, like going back to our younger days, right? If Osama bin Laden showed up dressed like a priest and was making this huge spectacle, no one there would be like, I think that guy's Osama bin Laden over there.
Yeah.
Doesn't that guy kinda
something's not right?
Right. So yes, so they get to the plane. Archer's team hears about the plane. Now, if you pay for a plane in cash, how is that being registered anywhere?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right? Anyway, whatever. Pollux pays for it. Archer says, get someone on that plane. And so the flight attendant on the plane is dressed like a businesswoman.
Yeah,
and it turns out she's an FBI agent.
That she was supposed to be acting as an attendant, like a flight attendant. But then I'm
Right.
like, this is a private plane. Maybe you just
Maybe
wear
that's how people dress.
Whatever you want. Also, you're trying to turn him on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or just lean into him. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, the dress thing threw me.
Very weird. Very weird. So
very weird.
What he says to her is, first he starts to say, now, if I were to send you flowers, where would I, which is a pickup line, right? Because you're trying to get somebody's address or phone number, right? He stops himself and says, no, let me rephrase. If I were to, I can't even read this, but I'm going to. If I were to let you suck my tongue, would you be grateful? And in my notes, that line is followed by about 30 question marks.
I wish I had the confidence to express anything like that in my life.
But what does that even... yeah.
You know you want my tongue in your mouth, and you're welcome.
This is the craziest thing that I've ever heard. Like, I have seen thousands of movies in my life. I have been perplexed. I have been bewildered. But the three sections of this segment of this sentence just makes my brain stop.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild.
It is, and it's just gross.
Then he puts his tongue out, and she, starts making out with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She deserves FBI Agent of the Year.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. But, rest in peace.
Rest in peace. And then he does the next insane thing, which is hold her out of the door, just shoots her, and then gives the craziest, "Aw, did I do that?" shrug ever.
Yeah. He's a super villain.
There's no menace. He's not like,
no.
He's just like, meh.
Better luck next time.
Okay. All right. They fight. There's guns and sparks and shooting and flying and jumping. And then Castor gets sucked down a tunnel. Truly like the end of a film.
Yes.
Right? And they crash this airplane into this hangar. And in 2020 or 21, I can't remember what year it was, Christopher Nolan put out this film called Tenet. And this a very highly publicized part of that was Christopher Nolan is going to crash an actual airplane into a hangar, and it's a big part of the movie and whatever. And John Woo is like, okay, that's how I'm going to open my movie. And
Right.
no fanfare, no, it's just, we're going to just do it. It's crazy.
And you think like
crazy.
to put that so heavy at 11 minutes in, you're like, oh, this is either setting the stage of what's to come, or this is where we spent all our money.
Right.
But that's false.
Right.
Because we just keep going.
There's a lot more to come. This movie should be called Planes, Trains, Automobiles, Boats.
And every form of transportation.
And merry-go-rounds.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, at this point, literally at this point in my notes, I wrote, I am less than 10 minutes in and I can't even take any more notes. Cage gets shot down a tunnel. Like, what? Do you know a lot about astrology?
A little.
Because I don't.
Do you know your sign?
What about astronomy?
A little bit.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean, the basics, I guess. It depends.
Right. Now, listeners, if you know a little bit about either astronomy or astrology, Face Off might play a little differently for you. And that is because Castor and Pollux, who are brothers or twins, do they ever call them twins?
I just assumed they were brothers.
Yeah.
Didn't Castor give like big bro vibes?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah.
And like
absolutely.
Pollux was the younger one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Castor and Pollux are the Gemini twins.
Yes.
In astrology and astronomy. Not only that, but their last name, Troy, is where the Trojan horse happened, which is where obviously somebody was trying to enter into the city, pretending to be something else, right? Their identity's hidden. Going a little further with that, Sean Archer on the astrology wheel, directly across from Gemini, is the Sagittarius, which is the Archer, which is a centaur archer. Sean Archer.
Okay. Did you just try to put Sean in centaur?
I'm just saying, like, his last name is Archer and his first name is Sean, which kind of sounds like the beginning of centaur.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it. I don't really have a point, but I looked into that because I was like,
but there's definitely a connection.
No one
there.
has ever been named Castor and Pollux. What do these names mean? And then as I started to look into it, I was like, oh, there's a whole picture that they're trying to. So then I was like, okay, are Sagittarius and Gemini like compatible? And it turns out that they are. Like those apparently are two things that go very well together.
That go well together. Yeah.
And like platonic partnerships, they actually work really well. And Nicolas Cage has said that he believes one of the reasons why these two have such an explosive relationship is because they're in love with each other subconsciously.
Do you think it's more of a I'm in love with the cat and mouse of it?
Yes. Like I don't think
We're not romantically in love.
No.
I just love fighting you and chasing you.
Yes, like the whole Batman and Joker thing.
Right.
Yeah.
An obsession.
And so it all culminates in them like living each other's lives.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So Castor goes into a coma. They need to get the bomb. Okay. Archer interrogates different crew members, whatever. No good. CCH Pounder, I don't know her name in this film, but that's the actress's name, comes into the room and she's like, there is one other thing. Okay, now I don't know a lot about like how the FBI works. I know, if you were a lawyer, it's not a good idea to represent like your spouse or sibling or something, right? Like that's like conflict of interest or whatever. Why is Sean Archer like the lead investigator on Castor Troy?
I was wondering that. Again, seems like it's a little too close for comfort. But then again, it's like, oh well, he's got a vendetta. We'll just let him.
Yeah.
We'll just let him lead.
Just let him do his thing.
Let him do his thing.
I don't think that this is a plot hole because they say he studied him. He knows him better than anybody else, right? But like, okay, you are this person coming to Sean Archer. For a moment, you're not like, you know what? Maybe we should get one of the other people to do the face swap thing.
You would think.
Castor Troy.
You would think. But then
this might be too much.
Right, but then they're like, no one knows him like he
no one knows him.
Castor.
Yeah. So. Look, our hands are tied.
This is our only option. This is our
John
only
Woo,
option.
you're making an airtight film here. Like you mentioned, we just blow past the science and everything. Now, there's a part of the story that in the beginning when they're hunting down Castor Troy, and it's like, oh, we got him at the airport. His wife calls, and she's put on hold. And as he leaves to go catch Castor Troy, the camera like holds on the blinking light. Are we supposed to feel bad for her?
For the wife?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
But like, he's about to catch Castor Troy, the guy who murdered your child.
This time you think he's going to catch him.
Right, but I feel like I never side with the dude in a movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like no one is really considering like Sean's mental well-being here.
Well, I mean, if we're going to get into mental well-being, this movie doesn't care about mental well-being. So I think we have to disregard that. But it is clear that their relationship is strained. She feels alone. Mm-hmm. And it's not like she's home waiting for him because she does have her own career. She's a doctor. So she's preoccupied as well. But I think that just in that moment, that symbolizes of like, oh, things aren't great at home.
But things aren't great at home because your sworn enemy murdered your child in your arms 6 years ago and you never got over it.
Well, right. But you need help. You need to seek help.
Help.
And your wife needs to live with you and your daughter needs to live with you. And they all went through that as well.
I just think we need to cut him a little slack. Because she's like, well, I waited on the phone for 10 minutes and then I couldn't anymore. And I'm like, yeah, that's because he was flying a helicopter into Castor Troy's airport.
Yeah, but how many times do you think she probably heard that in 6 years?
Do you think, so what you, do you think that him and Castor Troy do this like every few weeks?
I'm curious like how close it has gotten before.
Right, yes. Like he comes home and he's like, oh my God, I was chasing Castor Troy down a mountain on a mountain bike.
And I'm
then
sure
we flew
like
through the air shooting at each other.
The first couple of times you're like, oh my God, you got him? Oh my God. And then it's just like, right, honey. Okay. Are you killing him? Is that really going to solve anything? Is that going to get our son back? It's not. I'm here now alive. So. They
go through this surgery. He thinks about it for like 5 seconds.
He's and they're like, you can't tell your wife.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell anybody.
Right.
Only the select few know the mission.
Right. This is the part that bothers me the most.
Agreed.
And I get it because it's like we kind of wouldn't have a movie without this part, or the movie would just be shorter, which I am okay with.
Same.
You're sending him into this crazy prison. You're not even letting the warden know. Like,
thank you. I don't.
Hey, this is an operative here.
I legitimately thought I missed something because I'm like, we're doing all of this. He goes in. No one at the prison knows. I don't understand. No one's coming in to check on him or to. How is he supposed to get out with the information?
Well, he would contact his team, and at that point, they would extract him.
But they would allow him to contact his team? No, they're not.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Anyway.
No, I know. This part is really...
Yeah.
But it adds tension to, like you said, it's like, are they going to get their faces back? Because they just killed the only people who know that this surgery exists and can perform it.
Why... Why is John Travolta's face just on display?
Well, they're keeping it. It's like pickling something.
Fine. But it's
Yeah.
just like on display in the middle of a room, like a art exhibit. Why isn't this in a safe, locked? It should not have been easily accessible.
It's not just in a room. It's in Castor Troy's room.
And then, like, Castor wakes up from a coma. How does he wake up?
Well, so, okay, don't worry, he's in a coma, and then they put a cigarette out on him. There are medically induced comas
Yes,
that
there
are
are.
controlled. And so the first time I was watching this, I was like, oh, okay, it makes sense to keep him alive. You're doing experiments on him. That seems illegal, but sure, whatever.
Right.
He's not in a medically induced coma. He's just in a natural coma. And a natural coma, you can wake up from at any moment. No one is thinking securely, or like they're not thinking things through. It's so insane. It's so insane.
The thing, I know we need to move on.
Yeah.
But to go back to the surgery, not to harp on it, but they're like, okay, we're going to swap your faces. Fine. But with that, we have to swap everything else: body hair, skin.
We can remove a scar.
I can't.
We can remove a scar.
Why?
We can get rid of your love handles.
Why can't he just be his body down and then just have Nick Cage's face and vice versa?
Not to reiterate a point, but if this is 200 years in the future, this all makes sense. To me, it's sci-fi stuff, you know?
To switch the bodies, though, like just switch the face, do the mission, come back. We didn't think that Castor was going to wake up and take
Well,
Archer's
what's nuts
face.
about this is like the mission actually works.
It does.
Like what you think is going to be the story of the movie, this bomb, is
Right.
done really quickly.
Yeah, that's
so like,
true.
why did he? Yeah, cutting the hair while the face is off. As someone who cuts his hair all the time, like the tiny little fragments of your hair that just go everywhere, that's really crazy to me. Getting rid of the scar, putting in chest hair, just like don't mention that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Like you don't even need to tell me that, and then I won't think about it. Because at no point do we see, it's not like Castor walks into the prison and like takes his shirt off.
Right. That's what I'm
And
saying.
his brother's like, that's my brother's chest.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when, I'm watching all this, I'm like, what are we going to do about the voice? And so they do explain,
What are we
kind
gonna
of.
do about
I
the voice?
still didn't
Yeah.
really grasp it. There's a microchip and how that even affects it. I was like,
Mhm.
okay, sure. You explained it in a very quick way. Here we
Mhm.
go.
Yeah. And also, like, just for something that they don't need to mention, they're like, even if you sneeze violently, it will break. And then they're like getting in fights. He's in a prison
That's what I'm saying.
brawl.
We get into so many violent fights and situations, and
Yes.
yet the voice thing is
I know.
not affected.
I know. I asked you, I was like, okay, you and I swap faces.
Yeah.
I come home. Does Anthony just accept this? You know what I mean?
I said put on a giant robe, sit on the
Mhm.
couch. It'll probably take him about an hour and a half.
Because Joan Allen is just like, okay, sure, my husband is completely different now.
I found this to be so unbelievable.
Which part?
Him acting so different and her
Mhm.
not questioning it.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to think, I'm like, okay, Aunt and I, we've been together for like 17 years. We've been married for 10. Like, we're passing ships sometimes. Like, definitely there's been seasons. We've talked about this because you've also
Yeah.
been married for a long time, right? Like, sometimes Aunt and I, like, we don't really communicate for a couple of days here and there. But I'm like, I'm pretty sure I would notice a vibe check difference.
Sure. To this degree.
And I would question and be like, what's up with you? Also, they're having sex. I'm pretty sure I would notice whether it was for the better
Mm-hmm.
and be like, what's that? Oh,
right.
Oh, where you been or something, you know?
Sure. There's an odd part to this, which is like, okay, so they switch all these body parts. And it's like, what's going on with
Did
that?
we switch dongs? That's what I
Right.
want to know. I want to
Right.
know.
Yep. You're doing a face swap. Are you also doing a Dawn dingle? You know what I mean?
Yes, not to laugh at your terminology, but absolutely. Like how I guess we're switching feet and hands.
Where does it stop? And at that
Where
point,
does
you
it
really are just doing a
stop?
brain swap,
Right.
right? Like at that point, you say, okay, Castor's in a coma. So we're going to put you on 2 hospital beds. We're going to connect you with the brain machine.
Yep.
You're going to go into his body. He's
Yep.
going to go into yours. End of story. But no, not John Woo. John Woo says everything needs to be extra. Like this is the most extra movie of all time. Every opportunity for it to be like, and then Castor Troy has 2 gold guns, but there's also dragons on them.
Right.
And then at the end, we're going to do a speedboat chase. And then someone's going to jump a boat through another boat. And then that boat that just survived jumping through a boat will explode 5 seconds later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was very curious about this. I took it upon myself to find a face swapping app because I was curious what would happen if you and I swapped faces.
Okay.
So would we be able to pass off as just swapped face versions of ourselves?
Well, I think our body types are a little different.
Well, precisely, right?
Yeah.
Just like Nick Cage and John Travolta. Like you look at them, it's not like 1-for-1
No.
body types. You know what I
No.
mean? Like Cage is so much lankier and skinnier. He's so like skinny in this movie.
Yeah.
Where Travolta is like much more like built out, broad shoulder, big block head, you know? Which is kind of like you and me, right? Like right now, looking at our face shapes, you know, one of us has you have more of like a diamond shaped face, right?
I'm more actually like an oval. I'm an egg.
Oh, well, I would say diamond, but
I'll take that. Diamond
because
sounds
an egg
nicer.
is, and my face is just like, you know,
Yeah.
a thumbprint, right?
Oh my God.
Okay. So anyway, so this is your face on me. This is your face on me, which I gotta say, I kind of feel like this is a real person.
Oh my God. Wait, this is my face.
This
on
is your
you.
face on me.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, it definitely looks like someone who's just not smiling.
You would see this guy walking down the street,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, totally.
But if you walk into my house and say, "Hey, G. Marie, I'm Seth," or whatever, right?
Maybe if the lights were off and I had a beanie on.
Right. Or no, I guess so. I guess this would be I have taken your face. So this is what I'm showing up to Anthony as.
Well,
And I'm like, "Hi, I'm Michelle."
You'd have to shave.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the rest of the beard would have to go away.
Right.
Okay, so that's your face on me. And now this is my face on you.
Oh my God.
Which like this by the way, if you don't follow us on Instagram, you should, because this will definitely be on there.
This looks like a Geico commercial. With the caveman.
This looks like the bass player for Santana in like 1974 to me.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
it does. But it also looks like a very dirty version of myself. Like the other one looks like that could be a legitimate person.
That's a different person, yeah. Yeah, so this is you. This is you if you swapped our faces.
Wow. Great presentation. It was great.
Now, to go back to Cage and Travolta and acting, who do you think does a better job in this movie overall?
I think Cage.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I was surprised to see a lot of people say, oh, Travolta does a better job of acting like Cage than Cage does of acting like Travolta. But I felt like Travolta wasn't doing Cage. He was just being like,
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think there was a wider range of when Cage is Troy and Cage is Archer versus when John Travolta is acting as Archer and then acting as Castor.
Yeah. I definitely think, and like, and no shade against Travolta. I like Travolta.
Yeah.
He's great in Saturday Night Fever. Have you ever seen that?
I haven't.
I'll tell you what, it's not the movie that you probably think it is. It's not like a fun dancing movie.
I'm sure it's not. It's been on my list actually, and I legitimately mean that. I'm not just saying that.
Yeah.
My parents loved that movie, and I've always
Very
wanted to watch it.
intense. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
He's great in Blowout, and then in the '90s he's doing like Look Who's Talking, or right?
Yeah, that's how I
Yeah,
know him. Him and Bruce Willis.
Look Who's Talking, Phenomenon, and Michael, and stuff like
Yep.
that, and more. I don't know. Like early on, he does Blowout with Brian De Palma, which is like really really great. But in the '90s, it's a little bit more popcorny, fun, relaxed stuff. And then this, and
it just didn't work for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I accepted it obviously, but
yeah.
I
think
enjoyed. I will say I did enjoy when Travolta was acting as Castor versus Travolta acting as his character as
Right.
himself.
Definitely, yeah. I think that it only works within how insane this film is, and you're just being
That's correct.
barraged
Yeah.
by so much stuff that you're like, okay, whatever. Now, why is Castor Troy Mrs. Doubtfiring this family?
Well,
Like, Mrs. Doubtfire is a story about a man who puts on a different face, and in doing so, he's able to interact with this family that he knows, but he's able to just kind of help them instead
does help
of
them.
be antagonistic. And Castor Troy is literally like, you know what? I'm going to make this woman feel special. And you know what? I'm going to save this daughter, and I'm going to teach her.
Well,
I'm going to help these people.
I'm going to think about sleeping with her.
Right. When Castor says, "Oh, the plot thickens," I was like, this is the most evil person, because he sees the daughter, right?
Yeah.
It's like, this is the most insane evil person that's ever existed. Like, he's like the devil.
Right. Yeah, I know. I guess it's just like like you're wearing the face, you're wearing the clothes. Let's do the role.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like the relationship he has with the daughter as it goes on.
Right.
And especially when the daughter is getting assaulted by Danny Masterson. Holy moly. I was like,
what? Yeah, what a glimpse into the future. Yeah.
Jeez. But when he has that whole talk with her and then asks her if she has protection. However, it was so cheesy because we get a slow-mo on the Swiss Army knife. Whew. I was like, what?
Yes. I wrote that down.
Is this real right now? Is this real?
Yes. Do you have protection? Do you mean condoms? Cut to the slow motion knife. Yeah, look, John Woo.
This is Woo.
You can't top it.
But also a symbol of, you don't realize it, but remember this for later.
Right. It will come up.
It will come up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Castor wakes up, becomes Sean Archer. Now it's, okay, I got to escape. I just jump into the ocean, whatever. No explanation of how you get away from. Like, apparently this prison isn't that hard to escape from because Sean Archer just does it in like one afternoon.
I stopped the movie and rewound because we have the whole prison scene and we find out everyone that was working with Archer is dead.
Yeah.
Or who knew about the mission. Castor comes to see him. Archer gets put away. And then Archer jumps off and swims. And then the next scene, he's at a valet. What? He's dry. How did he get there?
Not important.
No, it is very important.
I agree. I mean, I agree. I think Face Off would have made a fantastic television show.
Yeah, yeah.
Where like each episode is like a different them facing off, or because there's just so much stuff happening and just not enough stuff being answered. I mean, we've barely talked about Pollux, and I actually found Pollux to be kind of the pinky thing. Oh my god,
pinky wave! Wow!
I thought that Pollux was played kind of interestingly. I did like the dynamic. I thought that was kind of realistic. You know, two brothers.
Yeah.
One of them's very domineering, and the other one's like, I'm just gonna like build a bomb, whatever. But there's just two, and then Gina Gershon has a kid with Castor Troy, and you find out later, and then you're listening to Somewhere Over the Rainbow in this huge shootout. Were you having Wild at Heart flashbacks?
Can I interject here?
Yeah.
Okay. Vampire's Kiss.
Yep.
We're seeking love. We're wandering around New York City solo.
Yep.
Raising Arizona. We're seeking love. Panty on the head. Seed bank robbery.
Mm-hmm.
It could happen to you. We're seeking love. We have a scene where we're wandering around New York City solo.
Yep.
Wild at Heart. Panty on the head. Seed bank robbery. Wizard of Oz elements. Face Off. Somewhere Over the Rainbow plays.
I'll raise you one more. Pig, Fancy Dinner at Home.
Yeah.
Face Off, Fancy Dinner at Home.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy that you just listed all those, because I literally wrote down Face Off contains elements of every Nick Cage movie that we have done.
And for Pig, I had Holding On to Love, which just like goes with all of them. But
Yes.
wow, 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 wow.
Also in Raising Arizona, Kidnapping a Kid, which is how this movie ends. Yeah. Yes. This movie, this episode of Movie Friends could be like 3 hours long, I feel.
Yes.
Eventually, Sean convinces his wife to do a blood test. Be like, hey, test this blood. Please don't be freaked out that I just punched glass in front of you.
Please don't be freaked out that I'm sitting in our bedroom with no warning and I'm going to approach you very fast. But don't freak out. Mm-hmm. I hated the approach. Okay, continue.
We work our way to this big showdown. Castor kills Sean's boss by karate chopping him while he's having a heart attack. Because why not?
Why not?
So it's going to be at his funeral. We get like the funniest standoff with guns ever, where people just keep being added.
Mm-hmm.
So we just, it's like everyone in the movie at this point just has a gun and they're standing there in the showdown. It's pretty incredible. Yeah, we do the knife thing with the daughter. The daughter shoots him. Yeah. Because she is not convinced, because who would be? No one's ever heard of this surgery or technology before. And then we get a pretty great, I mean, the action sequences in this movie are pretty great.
They are great. And I will say, I feel like everything looks really good.
Yeah.
Like even the face swapping, science-y.
Sure,
looks good. It doesn't look cheesy. So that's what also kind of threw me.
What I will say is everything looks great, I think, because it's practical, but they're not caring too much. Like you can really tell it's stunt doubles.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. But then they're doing stuff when they're thrown from the boat as it's exploding. I'm like, how did they do that?
Yeah.
Like, did they superimpose them over? Did they film the explosion and then film them flying through the air? Because they're flying a really dangerous height. And it really looks like the thing is exploding behind him. And it's like, that's not two dummies. Like, that's two actors. It ain't Cage and Travolta, but man, oh man.
Right. I just want to mention when Archer is Castor and goes to talk to his group.
Yeah.
And he's like, I just want to take his face off.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you want to take his face off.
Mm-hmm.
I can't.
It's great. It's like a swipe and a whoosh. Almost as if you were taking pantyhose off your head. I just wanted to
that.
Mm-hmm. But it's like a bunching and then a whoosh.
LOL.
It's crazy. By the way, that guy in that scene, the bald guy, part of the crew, Nick Cassavetes, son of John Cassavetes and Gina Rollins, and the director of a movie called The Notebook.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yep. So when you see that guy in this movie, just think he's got a bright future ahead of him.
Wow.
Clearly, he learned a lot from John Woo on this movie.
Clearly.
How did you feel about the doves in this?
I mean, I didn't really think anything of it.
You just accept it.
I just accept it. I mean, I'm sure there's a reason for it.
Yeah, it's like a John Woo trademark. It's everyone's like, this guy loves doves. He's got a way of like I said, kind of just making everything like a little extra. and really putting style on like every single thing. And so one of the ways he does that is dubs. I watched a few John Woo films in preparation for this because I was like, I want to get to this guy's headspace. I watched a movie, martial arts movie that he made way back, like maybe like 1970. I watched a movie that he made directly after this called Blackjack, which I don't know if we'll ever do on this show, but man, oh man, if you thought Face Off was wild, that movie is pretty great too. And then I watched a more recent movie. There's a scene where two guys are, they got guns and they're in a standoff. And one of them goes to shoot and a dove flies right in front of the gun and stops him from being able to shoot the guy. It's awesome. It's really, really, really great. But yeah, John Woo is like not for everybody, for sure. But I dig his style. Like I like someone who kind of knows what they want. They know what they want something to look like, and they don't care if it looks silly,
Yeah.
We get to the end. Sean like pins Castor with a harpoon gun because why not? And like Castor is like cutting off Sean's face, and so you think, he's gonna ruin the face. No, no big deal, because the top surgeons from DC are coming in because whatever.
And he's
matter.
like, one face, no scar, please.
Right, exactly. Yeah, he says to them, that scar? Which, no, of course they don't, because these weren't the doctors.
Right.
But he's like, I don't need it anymore. I'm like, well, wait a minute.
He's healed now.
Whatever.
Healed.
You know what? Whatever, sure. Then, to just completely forget his son, the movie ends with him just stealing another son. And he shows up at home, and he's like, hey, guys, this is Adam, and he needs a family. And the daughter says, Dad, I'm sorry I shot you. They do a face wipe. Sean brings Adam in, and the sister immediately does a face wipe to Adam. And at this point, I'm like, this is Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Like these are pod people. They've all stolen people's faces before.
My thought was Adam is going to grow up to be so effed up, he's probably a serial killer.
Absolutely.
Like, this kid has seen some things, and he's not grown up. First off, we're living with this family. How do you even explain your origins?
Jamie says, come on, I'll show you your room. And I'm like, wait, you mean Michael's room? That's probably been preserved since the day of his death? So Jamie's just going to be like, here's your room, and here's your clothes, and here's all your stuff.
Like, this actually is a great setup for a horror movie.
I'm sure there's 20 horror movies out there with this exact premise.
Yes.
Yeah. Wowie, wow. Face Off.
I can't believe it.
Thank you, patrons, for voting for this.
Thank you, patrons. Thank you so much.
I wanted to talk about just famous makeover scenes in history and how they compare to the Face Off surgery, but we don't have time. So this movie was made for $80 million. Goes on to make $245 for the box office.
Okay.
Big movie.
Yeah.
This next part had my jaw on the floor. This movie has a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. 93% critics consensus. 3.5 on Letterboxd.
Okay.
Which is like, okay, more believable. 82 on Metacritic. This is like an extremely loved film. There is not a Criterion release for this yet. And I'm going to say yet because I actually could see this one day being in there. Not in the National Film Registry. Ebert gave this 3 out of 4 stars.
Yeah.
And they filmed from January 4th to April 1st. Which,
wow.
For the amount of movie that you get, is pretty impressive.
Okay, Face Off just continues to blow my mind.
Yes. All right, let's get into our happies and crappies.
It's time for happies and crappies. Happies and crappies. It's time for happies.
You want to go first?
Sure. My happy is the fact that Castor has a box of chiclets in his little kit that he carries. And my crappy is the face touching, the face wipes.
Got it. We have the same happy. Castor's, I'm calling it his Go kit or his Go box.
Yeah.
such just an exquisite flourish.
It's
Like
great.
I would love it if every supervillain just had this thing that was brought to them, and it's like all your little knickknacks and all your little things that you like. My crappy, I literally don't know where to like begin with crappies with this movie, but for me, it's the prison scenes and the magnet boots. Like I just hate that whole thing. Not that it's not well done, but I'm like, why? This is the part where I'm like, cut it down.
Yeah.
Let's make this a little more simple. And if the bomb diffusing isn't our end game, I don't need for this part to be like so overdone. Like the magnet boots thing, just get rid of all of that for me. So we asked some friends on Twitter what they thought. Nick at Nick Shiesty says the special sauce with this is I often can't tell if it's more fun watching Cage's caster / archer or watching Travolta try to match his freak. The one, the only for now, but I will be seated for any potential sequels, which there has been talk of.
I know. I did see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ain't that a peach that I could just eat for hours? Peach emoji, lip emoji. Yikes.
This movie, I say peach all the time. Like I call Niles my peach. Like he's my perfect peach. But now this really thinking differently when I say peach.
Yes. Yeah, you got to move on to a plum.
Plum works.
Arthur, free Palestine, watermelon emoji, red triangle emoji.
Hey, Arthur.
At Arthur_Ant18 says, I recall how utterly bonkers it was to check this out back in 2022. It was such a blast to watch Somewhere Over the Rainbow accompany that gunfight. And it was also so damn cringy to have Troy act like such a gross little slime ball. Why did he have to keep bringing up peaches?
Leave peaches alone.
Sean Shank.
Hey, Sean Shank.
At Tyler_Burnham says, what Travolta movie do you think you could trade Cage in for and it would work just as well or better and vice versa? This is kind of a cop-out, but I would say Michael and City of Angels because they both play angels in those movies.
Oh, yeah. So we're swapping Travolta for Cage?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in Pulp Fiction?
Ooh, that's a really good answer.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. What Cage movie are you putting Travolta in?
It Could Happen to You.
Definitely. Wow. Good answers.
Yeah.
The Power of John at John Clyda.
John, hi.
Or John Cleta. I don't know. He's never confirmed how to say it. He says Face Off is fantastic. It's got Nick Cage doing his over-the-top, crazy bad guy, while John Travolta is his mortal enemy, who is much more reserved and normal, quote unquote. The fun truly happens after they make the switch, and now Travolta has to ham it up to match Cage's performance. Love it. And that's one thing in thinking about Cage this month. I was like, oh, this is proof that Cage is really good. Because even when you're pretending to be him, you can't do it.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Matt Campagna, clapboard emoji.
Hey, Matt.
At Matt Campagna says, a pal of mine is in this movie. And he said that Wu elevates the aesthetics of handguns to art. And I think he's absolutely right. Another pal of mine has tattoos of Castor's twin pistols because she loves this movie so dearly. I think she's also absolutely right.
Wow.
I would love to see this tattoo.
Same.
I don't know if that's possible, but reach out to your friend.
And also a screenshot of your friend in this movie.
Yes. Oh, homework for Matt.
2 assignments.
Melissa D'Agostino.
Hey, Melissa.
Clapboard emoji.
Wow.
Says the mimed action of taking a face off that happens in this film is an iconic physical gesture. I do it every time I say the term face off in any capacity. Circle the face, then pull it off. Elegant and insane.
Yes.
Elegant and insane is a good explanation or description of this movie. And finally, Vince Stone's girl, sparkle emoji, at Cass Smiley, says, I would 100% have relations with Castor Troy. But she doesn't say have relations.
Wow.
And speaking of assignments, I would like to unpack that for us.
Are you stuck in the tongue? And are you grateful for it?
All right. Okay. Wowie, wow, wow, wow. So there's some people that we do know. Now we go to a segment of the show where we hear from people that we don't know. It's called half star, 3-star, 5-star. These are reviews from letterboxd.com, which is a website where you can rate and review movies. We start with a half-star review, which is the lowest rating that you can give a film. We go all the way up to a 5-star review, which is the highest rating that you can give a film. And do you have a request for the half-star?
I don't.
I guess I'll do this as... I'm just going to do classic movie friends British guy.
Okay. I just want to let you know, I watched the reel of you doing Elvis, Kermit, and Miss Piggy probably about 1,000 times and like crying, laughing. So funny. I'm not suggesting that. I just want to say.
You know what? Maybe Kermit should replace British guy
I don't know.
as like the go-to, you know?
Yeah. I mean, Kermit's pretty great. You do a really good Kermit. Now, can you do other Muppets?
Gonzo is like, hey, Michelle.
Yeah, right.
Camilla. Get ready for my blowing up.
Yeah, the great Gonzo.
Shooting out of a cannon.
Right.
Ah! Yeah. Okay. Half-star review for Face Off.
Campiness cannot rescue this film for me. It was one of the silliest things I have ever seen, to the point of becoming merely irritating. An incredibly hammy performance that tests even Cage's likability.
Half-star.
Thank you, Kermit.
Tests even Cage's likability. That's very curious.
Yeah.
3-star review. Basically Freaky Friday, but Nick Cage.
Oh.
Okay. 5-star review says, John Woo brings us the high point of his U.S. efforts. With its bonkers premise, epic action scenes, and Nicolas Cage and John Travolta, both excellent in their dual roles. Face Off is one of the 90s best action movies and still ranks very highly in my book.
Well said.
All right, so we rate a movie as a schmovie, a movie, or a film. We rate it 1 through 5 stars, and we give our final thoughts and recommendations. Normally, we would say whoever won last week would go first, but we haven't been winning for the last few weeks.
No,
so I'll just say, Michelle, why don't you go first?
Okay.
All right. So for you, and this was a stab in the dark, perhaps more hopeful than it should have been. I wrote down a 4-star schmovie.
Okay. I'm rating this a 3.8 movie.
Holy moly.
Because, oh my gosh, like, there's so many schmovie elements, but it really does look good. So it looks like a movie.
Right. Yeah.
But you were close.
Okay.
I very much struggled with this. And Anthony and I kept having the conversation of like, what makes a schmovie, what makes a movie, what makes a film? He feels that if there's any type of explosion, that's definitely not a film. Like there's no explosions in films.
Interesting.
And I was
no
like,
explosions in films.
I don't know about that. But anyway, we're not going to get on that topic.
Okay.
I am recommending this, and I had a good time watching this. So, and I said this to Seth earlier. I wish we did this as a live show. The
it
fun
might need to happen.
we could have had, Seth.
It might need to happen anyway. Maybe in a year.
Can you imagine someone bringing us out our kit and we grab our
right?
Oh my gosh, there's just so many
setting up an actual face swapping machine that we could have done. Yeah.
Imagine the short we could have made to play before our live show, and it's like the surgery scene. Oh my gosh! And then we come out. But like you're actually me, I'm actually you. But
dressed as each other.
And we have to act. Oh gosh. My brain was just like.
You never know.
I want to do this so bad. Okay. For you, I wrote down 3.5 movie.
Very close. Very, very, very close. I am going to rate this as a 3.5 schmovie.
Oh, wow.
For sure. Yes.
Okay.
And I had texted you. I had kind of an epiphany because if you don't listen to the show very often, or this is your first time and you're like, what is a schmovie? That's something that we are constantly exploring and trying to understand the parameters of. And I feel like I had a schmovie revelation this week, which is a schmovie cannot exist without other movies. And it's like, I am making this movie either in homage or mockery of, or I'm aiming for something that I've seen before and I'm not quite getting there. Now, I don't feel that about John Woo. Like I said, he is confident in his direction. He's doing all that stuff, but this movie is just so ridiculously over the top and like it doesn't make any sense unless you've seen other action movies. Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Face Off would never be the first movie that someone has ever made. It has to exist in the realm of other films.
Yeah.
That probably doesn't mean anything to anyone but me. But
No, I
anyway.
get what you're saying.
And I do recommend this. I had such a better time rewatching this than the first time I watched it. Because the first time I watched it, I was so confused. I was like, this is insane. Like, this is actually just a crazy person making a movie. And then this time around, I was like, oh, no, this is very funny. And Wu said, he was like, I set out to make like a funny movie. He's like, I knew that parts of this were really funny. And watching, interviews of Cage and Travolta from around that time, everyone was having fun.
Yeah.
So going over to our pickle tally, we are still at I've won 5 and you've won 3. Man, oh man.
So sad.
We are stuck.
I know.
All right. Does Face Off pass the Seth Shell test? The Seth Shell test is our spin on the Bechdel test, and it is as follows. This movie must contain something tangible that is impressive, whether choreography, production design, or practical effect, and it must have a runtime that is justified by its content. To me, this is half and half. There's so much impressive special effects and practical effects, production design, choreography, all of that stuff is incredible. But my goodness, is this movie long?
I ditto that. Very impressive stuff happening, but we could definitely trim this up a little bit. By a little bit, I mean a lot of it.
Yes. Hey, if you like listening to us a little bit or a lot of bit, I don't know, please consider giving us a rating and a review wherever you're listening. Hey, look, we're in a review drought here. I can't even remember the last review we've gotten. Actually, I do remember because they all make a big impression on us.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, if you haven't yet, please consider giving us a review on Apple Podcasts or a review and a rating wherever you're listening. Come on, man. Everyone has forgotten our goal of beating Jamie Kennedy's podcast
We haven't.
in ratings and reviews. We haven't, folks.
You could make it happen.
You can also send us an email, moviefriendspodcast@gmail.com. Let us know what you thought about Face Off. Please let us know. We would love to hear your thoughts on Face Off. You can also support the show, patreon.com/moviefriendspodcast. Look, you sign up, you're automatically charged $5 a month. You get access to all of our additional shows, commercial-free episodes, our patron-only Discord, which is a big group chat. And I gotta say, it's the best part of my life. People talking in there about movies that they're watching, cats.
I know. I love our Unexpected Cats channel.
It's so great.
It's so good.
You also get to vote on upcoming themes, upcoming episodes. Oh my gosh. 1 episode a month. This month we did 2.
I know. The patrons had a lot of power this month.
Yeah. And you get added to Michelle's Inner Circle, where you get to decode a secret message at the end of every episode. Be sure to listen to the end after the credits, folks, to hear this week's secret message from Michelle. It's great. And it's all $5 a month, which, like, come on, literally that's like 2 eggs right now.
Yeah. What a steal.
Yeah. Skip the eggs, folks.
Skip the eggs.
You don't need the
Support
cholesterol.
Movie Friends.
That's right. Okay, so next week.
We're
next
leaving
month,
Cage. This is it. Like, we'll never cover Cage again.
It's highly unlikely.
But also, I feel we've learned on this show, never say never. So
That's right. Never say never. Yeah, we'll never cover Cage again until we do a live show of Face
That's
Off
right.
next
That's
year.
right.
Yeah. You know, Nicolas Cage has covered a lot of different genres in films. He's done war films, he's done romantic comedies, action adventure movies, but there's one genre that he has barely touched on. And so as we depart from Cage, we're kind of going in a direction very far from his body of work, if that's even possible. Many, many years ago, he starred. This was actually his first starring as the lead movie. He starred in a movie called The Boy in Blue, in which he played a competitive rower. That is the last time that he has starred in any film involving sports. If you can believe that. Can you believe that?
I can't. We should cover that.
It's pretty unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
And here at Movie Friends, we are not sports people.
No.
But we decided enough is enough. We've put it off for too long. And so for April, we will be covering sports films. How excited are you?
I actually I like this theme, and the fact that I have more than one sports movie that I want to cover for my pick.
Me too.
I
Yeah.
am struggling because I have like 3 or
yeah.
4 that I want to do.
Yep, me too. And I mean, we're only, 4 episodes in a month.
I know.
Sports, like we could do a whole month just on basketball, just on baseball, just on football,
Absolutely.
just on soccer.
Absolutely.
So this is going to be a real
This is
brisk.
tough.
Yeah. But, I thought about what movie to start with, and this seemed like kind of a no-brainer for a few reasons. We're going to start with one of the greatest sports films ever made, according to your Italian uncle. We're going to be talking about Rocky from 1976, directed by John G. Avildsen, starring a little guy named Sylvester Stallone.
That guy.
And as of the time of this recording, this is currently streaming on Pluto TV and Plex for free. Have you seen Rocky?
I haven't. This is one of Ant's favorites, and Ant's going to be so bummed because he's away this weekend. So I will be watching it without him. When he found out we were doing Sports Month, he's like, I want to watch every single movie you cover for it. And I was like, okay. But Ant will be doing his own sport thing. He's competing in High Rocks this weekend.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, in DC. So.
All right.
Sorry, Ant.
You should watch Rocky on the plane or
the train,
in the hotel.
They're taking the Amtrak. Yeah, him
just to get pumped up.
I know him and Ryan could watch it together to
absolutely
get pumped up. But I'm excited to watch this, actually. I'll be watching it by myself, though. Well.
Just as God intended.
That's right. That's right.
Well, hey, thanks, Michelle.
Thanks, Seth. Thank you, patrons. Thank you, Nicolas Cage.
Thank you, Nicolas Cage.
Thanks, John Woo.
Thank you. Thanks, John Woo. And hey, thank you very much for listening. And remember, folks, always be sure to check your husband for his bullet scar. Till next time, thank you for listening. Have a good one.
Movie Friends is produced by Seth Vargas and Michelle Rubenstein. Theme music by Jean Marie Vargas. Visit us at our website, moviefriendspodcast.com, and please subscribe and rate our show wherever you are listening. You can support Movie Friends at patreon.com/moviefriendspodcast. Thanks for listening.
Incoming. Message incoming. Message to Michelle's inner circle. Remember, kids, only Michelle's inner circle can decipher this week's message. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready.
Message number 12, 73, 57, 45, 74, 87, 74, 62, 70, 83, 66, 54, 74, 75, 77, 52, 57, 66, 46, 73, 83, 75, 55.
Michelle is counting on you. Do not let her down.